Africa is reclaiming its riches, especially in the gold mining industry. Multinational corporations have long profited from Africa's gold, leaving minimal local benefit. But now, African leaders are nationalizing mines and demanding a fairer share of profits. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. European colonialism left deep scars on Africa, seizing land rich in gold. Even post-independence, foreign companies continued to exploit Africa's resources. This historical context fuels Africa's current gold revolution. Gold symbolizes luxury and power but also plays a crucial role in the global economy. Its durability and stability make it a safe haven asset during economic uncertainty. Countries hold gold reserves to hedge against economic shocks. Control of gold is intertwined with international power dynamics. Africa's gold abundance has attracted centuries of exploitation. European powers exploited Africa's resources, shipping gold back to Europe. This pattern continued post-independence, benefiting external actors over African nations. Gold mining has left a legacy of pollution, displacement, and social unrest. Chemicals used in extraction contaminate water sources, endangering health. Mining operations displace communities, disrupting traditional ways of life. In 2024, Burkina Faso nationalized 2 major gold mines. President Ibrahim Traoré declared an end to foreign exploitation of gold resources. The move signaled Burkina Faso's determination to control its destiny. Burkina Faso's actions warned multinational corporations of a new era. The move highlighted a global trend of resource nationalism. It raised questions about the future of foreign investment in resource-rich nations. Burkina Faso's actions inspired other African nations. Ghana implemented assertive policies to control its gold industry. Africa is determined to harness its mineral wealth for its own development. Ghana issued an ultimatum to foreign gold traders in 2025. The move signaled a shift in Ghana's approach to managing its gold resources. Ghana aimed to ensure its citizens benefited from its mineral wealth. Ghana rejected Gold Fields' bid for the Damang mine's license renewal. This decision marked a turning point in Ghana's resource independence. Ghana demonstrated its commitment to utilizing its resources for its people. Ghana's vision extends beyond nationalizing assets. The government aims to develop local refining capacity. This move seeks to transform Ghana into a key player in global gold processing. Mali announced a suspension of new permits for foreign mining firms. This moratorium aimed to reclaim control of its natural resources. It represented a pivotal moment in Mali's mining industry. A mining accident in Mali spurred calls for greater oversight. The government implemented a temporary halt to new mining permits. The goal was to create a more responsible mining industry, prioritizing the well-being of its people. From crumbs to cake, rewriting the rules of engagement. The suspension of new mining permits in Mali represented more than just a reaction to a tragic event. It symbolized a profound shift in mindset within the Malian government, and a growing determination to ensure that the country reaped a greater share of the benefits from its mineral wealth. For too long, Mali had been content to receive a relatively small slice of the pie, while foreign companies extracted vast profits from its gold mines. This approach, often criticized as a form of neo-colonialism, left many Malians feeling like their country's resources were being exploited for the benefit of others. The government's decision to suspend new permits marked a turning point. Mali was no longer satisfied with receiving crumbs from the table. It was determined to claim a larger share of the cake. The message to foreign mining companies was clear. Mali was open for business, but the terms of engagement had changed. The suspension of new permits, the government argued, was necessary to create a more level playing field and ensure that future mining agreements were more equitable and beneficial for Mali. While Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Mali made headlines with their bold moves in the gold mining sector, a smaller player had already set the stage for Africa's resource revolution. Burundi, a landlocked nation in East Africa, might not be as well known for its gold production as its continental counterparts, but its actions sent a powerful message to the world. Size doesn't diminish the right to sovereignty and fair treatment. In a move that reverberated across the mining industry, Burundi's president Evariste Ndayishimiye made a bold declaration in 2021. Citing concerns about the unequal distribution of benefits from the country's mining sector, Ndayishimiye announced the immediate suspension of all foreign mining operations within Burundi's borders. This decisive action, a David versus Goliath moment, challenged the long-standing dominance of multinational corporations in the global mining landscape. The world watched with bated breath as this small African nation took on some of the biggest players in the global mining industry. Ndayishimiye's stance was clear: Burundi's mineral wealth belonged to its people, and it was time to ensure that they reaped the rewards of their natural heritage. At the heart of Burundi's decision to suspend foreign mining operations lay a fundamental principle. A nation's natural resources should serve as a catalyst for the well-being of its citizens. For too long, Burundi, like many developing countries endowed with mineral wealth, had witnessed a familiar pattern: foreign companies extracting its resources, generating substantial profits, yet leaving behind a legacy of environmental degradation and limited economic benefits for the local population. President Ndayishimiye was determined to break this cycle of exploitation. He argued that the existing mining contracts, often negotiated in secrecy and on terms that favored foreign corporations, deprived Burundi of its fair share of the revenue generated from its own resources. This imbalance, he believed, perpetuated a system where multinational companies prospered, while Burundi's citizens struggled to make ends meet. Ndayishimiye's vision was clear: Burundi's mineral wealth should be harnessed to uplift its people, not to enrich foreign entities at their expense. The suspension of foreign mining operations, he argued, was not an act of hostility towards foreign investment, but rather a necessary step towards creating a more just and equitable mining sector. The suspension of foreign mining operations in Burundi was not intended to be a permanent measure. Instead, it served as a strategic pause, a moment for reflection and recalibration. The government announced that it would use this period to review existing mining contracts, assess their environmental and social impacts, and renegotiate terms to ensure that they aligned with Burundi's national interests. This process, Ndayishimiye emphasized, would be conducted with transparency and accountability, involving stakeholders from all segments of society. The goal was to create a new model for mining in Burundi, one that prioritized sustainability, community development, and equitable benefit sharing. The government also announced plans to invest in building domestic capacity in the mining sector, reducing Burundi's reliance on foreign expertise and creating job opportunities for its citizens. This commitment to nurturing local talent aimed to ensure that Burundians were not merely passive bystanders in their own mining industry, but active participants, equipped with the skills and knowledge to manage their resources sustainably for generations to come. The world watched as Burundi embarked on this ambitious journey, its actions serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration for other nations seeking to reclaim control of their natural resources and chart a more equitable and prosperous future for their people. Africa's assertive stance in reclaiming its gold resources did not emerge in a vacuum. It was the culmination of converging global trends, economic shifts, and a growing sense of self-determination sweeping across the continent. The old order, where foreign powers dictated the terms of resource extraction, was being challenged by a confluence of factors that created a perfect storm for transformation. One of the key drivers was the surge in commodity prices, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical tensions. As gold prices soared to record highs, driven by investors seeking safe haven assets amidst uncertainty, African nations realized the true value of their reserves. The potential to leverage this wealth for national development became increasingly apparent. This economic impetus coincided with the emergence of a new generation of African leaders, often younger, more nationalistic, and less beholden to the traditional Western partners that had long exerted influence over their economies. These leaders, emboldened by a desire to chart a new course for their nations, were less willing to accept the status quo of resource dependence and eager to assert their sovereignty on the global stage. Adding fuel to this fire was the rise of new global players, particularly China, which saw an opportunity to forge strategic partnerships with resource-rich African nations. China, with its insatiable appetite for raw materials to fuel its economic engine, offered an alternative to the traditional Western-dominated model of resource extraction. Chinese companies, often backed by state support, were willing to invest heavily in infrastructure projects, provide loans on favorable terms, and engage in technology transfer agreements, all in exchange for access to Africa's vast mineral wealth. This new dynamic provided African nations with greater leverage and negotiating power, allowing them to strike deals that better served their national interests. This shift in global alliances was further amplified by the changing dynamics within the existing power structures. The United States, once the undisputed leader in the global order, was grappling with internal divisions and a more inward-looking foreign policy. This created a vacuum that China was quick to fill, positioning itself as a more reliable and less demanding partner for African nations seeking to develop their economies. The strategic importance of gold extended beyond its economic value. Gold, with its historical association with wealth, power, and stability, had long been a cornerstone of central bank reserves and a key factor in international monetary policy. As global tensions rose and trust in traditional reserve currencies like the US dollar waned, nations sought to diversify their holdings and reduce their vulnerability to fluctuations in the global financial system. This led to a surge in demand for gold from central banks around the world, particularly from those seeking to reduce their reliance on the US dollar or hedge against geopolitical risks. China and Russia, both wary of the dominance of the US dollar and seeking to establish their own spheres of influence, became major players in the global gold market, accumulating vast reserves of the precious metal. This scramble for gold had profound implications for the global balance of power. As African nations asserted control over their gold resources, they gained a strategic advantage in this new geopolitical landscape. By leveraging their gold reserves, they could forge alliances, secure favorable trade deals, and reduce their dependence on traditional Western powers. Gold was no longer just a commodity, it was a currency of power in a rapidly changing world. The significance of Africa's gold revolution extends far beyond the glittering confines of mines and vaults. It represents a profound shift in the global balance of power, a reawakening of a continent long relegated to the sidelines of the global economy. While gold may be the catalyst for this transformation, its implications reach far and wide, encompassing a diverse array of resources critical to the future of our interconnected world. From the cobalt that powers our smartphones and electric vehicles to the rare earth minerals essential for renewable energy technologies and advanced electronics, Africa holds the key to a sustainable future. Yet for too long, this abundance of resources has been viewed through a narrow lens of extraction and exploitation, with little regard for the long-term well-being of the continent and its people. The gold revolution has shattered this paradigm, empowering African nations to demand a new deal, one based on mutual respect, equitable partnerships, and shared prosperity. It is a clarion call for a fundamental shift in the way the world views and interacts with Africa's resources. As the global economy grapples with uncertainty, geopolitical tensions, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, gold has re-emerged as a beacon of stability in turbulent financial seas. Investors, seeking refuge from volatile markets and eroding confidence in fiat currencies, have flocked to gold as a safe haven asset, driving its price to record highs. This surge in demand has not gone unnoticed by central banks worldwide. Wary of the inherent risks associated with relying solely on fiat currencies, central banks, particularly those seeking to diversify their reserves and reduce their exposure to the US dollar, have been steadily increasing their gold holdings. This trend has further amplified gold's strategic importance on the global stage. For African nations, this renewed focus on gold presents both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, it provides a unique opportunity to leverage their gold reserves to attract foreign investment, secure favorable loan terms, and bolster their own financial stability. On the other hand, it also exposes them to the volatility of global markets and the potential for manipulation by powerful actors. The convergence of these factors, the rise of resource nationalism, the growing demand for gold and other critical minerals, and the shifting geopolitical landscape, has created a unique moment in history, one that holds immense potential for Africa. The continent stands at the cusp of a new era, one where it is no longer perceived as a passive supplier of raw materials, but as a dynamic force shaping the global economy and its own destiny. The gold revolution, far from being an isolated event, is a powerful symbol of this transformation. This is not to say that the path ahead will be easy or without its challenges. Deep-seated inequalities, corruption, and the legacy of colonialism continue to cast a long shadow over many parts of Africa. However, the winds of change are blowing, carrying with them the hopes and aspirations of a continent determined to claim its rightful place on the world stage. The sun rises over the savannas and peaks of Africa, casting a warm glow on a continent undergoing a profound transformation. The narrative of Africa as a passive, resource-dependent entity is being rewritten, with each ounce of gold reclaimed, each mining contract renegotiated, and each refinery built on African soil. This is the dawn of a new era, one where Africa seizes control of its destiny, leveraging its vast natural wealth to fuel its own rise. The gold revolution is more than just an economic movement, it's a cultural and political awakening. It's about reclaiming not just resources but also dignity, self-reliance, and the power to shape one's own future. It's about challenging the long-standing narratives of exploitation and dependence, replacing them with a vision of shared prosperity, sustainable development, and a global order where Africa's voice resonates with strength and clarity. The echoes of this transformation are being felt far beyond Africa's shores. As the world grapples with the urgent need for a more just and sustainable global order, Africa's bold stance serves as an inspiration, a testament to the power of collective action and the unwavering pursuit of a brighter future. The world is watching as Africa steps onto the global stage, no longer content with a supporting role. The continent's vast reserves of gold, cobalt, diamonds, and other critical minerals are no longer seen merely as commodities to be extracted and exported, but as the building blocks of a new, more equitable global economy. This is not a zero-sum game. It's an opportunity for a paradigm shift, a move away from the exploitative practices of the past towards a future where partnerships are based on mutual respect, shared benefits, and a commitment to sustainable development. The gold revolution is a beacon, illuminating a path towards a world where resources are harnessed responsibly, prosperity is shared more equitably, and the voices of those long marginalized are heard loud and clear. The journey ahead will undoubtedly be met with challenges and resistance. Old habits die hard, and the forces that have long benefited from Africa's resource wealth will not relinquish their grip easily. But the momentum for change is undeniable. The spirit of Pan-Africanism, of unity, resilience, and self-determination, burns brighter than ever.